Most people buying camper vans right now are making a $70,000 mistake. Here's what manufacturers won't tell you before you sign. I'm breaking down the only 5 camper vans worth buying in 2026, why 3 popular models will bankrupt you in repairs, and the one van that's absolutely dominating resale value right now. If you're spending your retirement savings or life savings on wheels, the next 8 minutes will save you from serious regret. The camper van market completely shifted in the last 18 months. What was smart in 2023 is financial suicide in 2026. Warranty programs collapsed, parts availability changed, and 3 manufacturers quietly stopped supporting older models. Let's get into what actually matters. 1. The winner. Ford Transit-based conversions. The Ford Transit with professional conversion, specifically the 2024 and newer high-roof extended models, is the smartest buy for 95% of people watching this. And here's why that matters more than the Instagram-perfect Mercedes Sprinter everyone obsesses over. Parts availability. When your Sprinter breaks down in rural Montana, you're waiting 2 weeks for a $3,000 part shipped from Germany. When your Transit has an issue, there are 4,200 Ford service centers in North America alone. I've seen people stuck for 38 days waiting on Sprinter parts. That's your whole summer trip gone. Cost of ownership is where this gets serious. The Transit's maintenance averages $840 per year. The Sprinter, $2,300. Over 5 years, you're looking at $7,300 versus $11,500. That's a $4,200 difference, enough for a full solar upgrade or a month in Europe. But here's what makes the Transit genuinely smart. Conversion options. Companies like Storyteller, Benchmade, and Winnebago's Revel Alternative are building on Transit platforms now, and their quality control is leagues ahead of what we saw in 2022. You're getting R&D that actually went into winter insulation, not just making it look good for photos. The 2024 plus models fixed the transmission issues that plagued 2020 to 2021. If someone's trying to sell you a 2020 Transit conversion at a discount, walk away. Those transmissions had a class action lawsuit for a reason. Now, if you have a bigger budget, there's one European import that's worth the premium, but only if you meet 3 specific criteria. I'll get to that in a minute. 2. The underdog, Ram ProMaster. The Ram ProMaster is the van nobody talks about, and everyone who owns one defends aggressively. There's a reason. It's front-wheel drive, which sounds worse until you realize what that actually means. Lower floor height, easier entry for older buyers or people with mobility issues, and better fuel economy in normal driving. You're not rock crawling in an $80,000 camper van. You're driving to national parks on paved roads. Where the ProMaster wins, interior width. It's 6 inches wider inside than a Transit. When you're living in this thing for 3 months, those 6 inches mean you can have an actual hallway past your bed. Your partner won't hate you by week 2. The catch? Resale value is weaker. ProMasters depreciate about 12% faster over 5 years compared to Transits. But if you're buying to use for 10 plus years, not flip in 3, that doesn't matter. You're saving $8,000 to $15,000 on the initial purchase versus a comparable Transit build. Best ProMaster conversions: Winnebago Solis, Coachmen Beyond, and custom builds from smaller shops that specialize in the platform. Avoid the cheap Chinese imports using ProMaster bases. They're flooding the market and falling apart in year 2. 3. The luxury option, Mercedes Sprinter, with conditions. The Sprinter, specifically the 2025 plus 4-cylinder turbo diesel models, is worth buying if you're planning 100,000 plus miles, you're staying near major cities with Mercedes service centers, and you can afford to set aside $5,000 per year for maintenance without flinching. The four-cylinder diesel gets 24 to 26 miles per gallon on highways. The Transit gets 18 to 20. Over 100,000 miles, that's $8,000 to $12,000 in fuel savings. Suddenly, the higher purchase price makes sense. Build quality is genuinely better. The Sprinter feels like a $120,000 vehicle. The Transit feels like a $75,000 vehicle. If you're retiring into this and living full-time, that quality of life difference compounds daily. But here's the controversial take. If you're buying used, never buy a Sprinter with over 60,000 miles unless you have full service records and $10,000 cash set aside for the inevitable injector or turbo replacement. These aren't DIY-friendly repairs. You're paying Mercedes labor rates. You know what van I'm not recommending? The one everyone in the comments is about to defend. 4. What to avoid. Nissan NV200 and older Sprinters. The Nissan NV200-based camper vans are cheap for a reason. They're too small for full-time living, and the engine has a CVT transmission that's notorious for failing between 80,000 to 120,000 miles. Replacement cost? $6,500. These are weekend warrior vans being marketed as full-time solutions. Don't fall for it. Pre-2019 Sprinters, especially 2014 to 2017 models, are flooding the used market right now. They look like deals. They're not. The emission systems on those years have failure rates near 40% after 80,000 miles. You're buying someone else's imminent $8,000 problem. And the Volkswagen Crafter, basically a rebadged Sprinter sold in Europe, has parts availability that's even worse in the US. If you're buying in Europe and staying in Europe, fine. If you're crossing the Atlantic, you're creating a nightmare. 5. The wild card. Custom builds on Transit ProMaster. Here's what smart buyers are doing in 2026. Buying a bare Transit or ProMaster, new or certified pre-owned, and hiring a quality local conversion shop. Total cost, $55,000 to $75,000 for something fully custom. You're getting exactly what you need, nothing you don't, and you're building equity in quality components, not paying for a brand name. The risk? You need to vet builders carefully. Ask for 3 references, visit their shop, check their insurance, and never pay more than 25% upfront. The industry has scam artists who take deposits and disappear. Best regions for quality builders: Colorado, Oregon, North Carolina, and Southern California in the U.S. In Europe, Portugal, Germany, and Scotland have thriving van build communities with solid reputations. So here's who should buy what. Buy a Transit conversion if you want reliability, resale value, and nationwide service access. This is the default smart choice. Buy a ProMaster conversion if you prioritize interior space and upfront cost savings over resale value. Buy a Sprinter only if you're doing serious mileage, staying near cities, and have a healthy maintenance budget. Go custom if you know exactly what you want and have time to find a quality builder. The campervan market in 2026 rewards patience and punishes impulse buyers. The worst thing you can do is buy based on Instagram aesthetics or dealer pressure. The best thing you can do? Test drive 3 different platforms, sleep in them overnight if possible, and talk to owners who've had theirs for 2+ years. Your camper van should serve your life, not complicate it. Buy smart, not pretty. Drop a comment and tell me, are you Team Transit, Team ProMaster, or are you brave enough to defend your Sprinter? I read every comment, and I'll tell you if you're making a smart move or about to regret it.